cat skin? Once upon a time there was a king whose queen had hair of pure gold. She was so beautiful that no one could compare to her on the entire face of the earth. However, this beautiful queen became ill, and when she felt her end was near, she called her king to her side. She asked him to promise that he would never marry again unless he found a wife as beautiful as she was and with golden hair like hers. The king, in his grief, promised everything she asked. After she closed her eyes, she passed away. The king was not comforted, and for a long time did not think of taking another wife. However, his wise men advised him that it was not right for the king not to have a queen. So messengers were sent to search far and wide for a bride as beautiful as his late queen. But there was no other princess in the world as beautiful, and even if there were, none had golden hair. The messengers returned home with empty hands. All their troubles were for nothing, because the king had a daughter who was as beautiful as her mother, with the same golden hair. When she grew up, the king looked at her and saw that she was exactly like his late wife. He then said to his courtiers, "May I not marry my daughter? She is the very image of my late wife. Unless I have her, I shall not find another bride on the whole earth. You say there must be a queen." The courtiers were shocked by this, saying, "Heaven forbid that a father marry his daughter out of such great sin. No good can come of it." His daughter was also shocked, but she hoped the king would soon abandon such thoughts. So she said to him, "Before I marry anyone, I must have 3 dresses. One must be made of gold, like the sun. Another must be made of shining silver, like the moon. And a third must be as dazzling as the stars. Besides this, I want a mantle like—" 1,000 different kinds of fur were put together, and every beast in the kingdom had to give a part of its skin. The king thought that she would forget about the matter, but he made the most skilled worker in his kingdom weave 3 dresses, one golden like the sun, another silvery like the moon, and a third sparkling like the stars. His hunters were told to hunt all the beasts in his kingdom and take the finest fur from their skins. Thus a mantle of 1,000 furs was made. When everything was ready, the king sent the dresses to her, but she got up in the night when everyone was asleep and took 3 of her trinkets, a golden ring, a golden necklace, and a golden brooch. She packed the 3 dresses in a nutshell and wrapped herself in the mantle, made of all sorts of fur, and covered her face and hands with soot. Then she threw herself on heaven for help and went away on a journey. Night after night, she finally came to a large forest. She was very tired and sat down in the hollow of a tree, soon falling asleep. There she slept until midday. The king, who owned the forest, was hunting in it, and his dogs came to the tree, sniffing around and running around, barking. The king told the huntsman to go and see what kind of game was there. The huntsman went to the tree, and when they returned, said that in the hollow tree there was a most wonderful beast, such as they had never seen before. Its skin seemed to be made of 1,000 different kinds of fur, but it was fast asleep. The king said if they could catch it alive, they would take it with them. The huntsman caught it, and the maiden woke up, greatly frightened. She said she was a poor child, neither father nor mother left, and begged for pity. They said, "Yes, Miss Catskin, you will be good for the kitchen. You can sweep the ashes, do things of that sort. So they put her in the coach and took her home to the king's palace. Then they showed her a small corner under the stairs where no light ever peeped in, and said, "Catskin, you may lie there and sleep." She was sent to the kitchen, where she had to fetch wood and water, blow the fire, pluck the poultry, pick the herbs, sift the ashes, and do all the dirty work. Thus Catskin lived for a long time, very sadly. "Ah, pretty princess," thought she, "what will become of me now?" But it happened one day that a feast was to be held in the king's castle. She said to the cook, "May I go up for a little while to see what is going on? I will be careful and stand behind the door." The cook said, "Yes, you may go, but be back in half an hour to rake out the ashes." Then she took her lamp and went to her cabin, took off her first skin, and washed the soot off herself. The princess, with her beautiful face and hands, shone like the sun behind the clouds. She opened her nut shell and brought out a dress that shone like the sun. Everyone made way for her because they thought she was a king's daughter. The king came up to her, held out his hand, and danced with her. He thought to himself that he had never seen anyone as beautiful. When the dance ended, she curtsied, but when the king looked around for her, she was gone. The guards at the castle gate were called in, but they had not seen anyone. The truth was that the princess had run back to her cabin, pulled off her dress, blackened her face and hands, put on her first skin cloak, and became Catskin again. When she went to the kitchen to do her work, the cook said to let her alone until the fire was ready. "Good morning. I would like to run upstairs and have a look, but please be careful not to let any hair fall into the soup, or you might not eat again." As soon as the cook left, Catskin heated the king's soup and toasted a slice of bread as nicely as she could. When it was ready, she looked for her little golden ring and placed it in the dish with the soup. After the dance, the king ordered the soup to be served. He was so pleased with it that he thought it was the best he had ever tasted. Before, at the bottom, he saw a gold ring lying. He couldn't understand how it had gotten there, so he ordered the cook to be brought. The cook was scared when he heard the order and said, "Catskin, you must have dropped your hair into the soup. If that's true, you'll get a good beating." Then he went before the king and asked who had cooked the soup. "I did," the cook answered, but the king said it was not true. It was better than what you could do. So he answered, "To be honest, I didn't cook it. Catskin did." Then the king told Catskin to come up. When she came, he asked, "Who are you?" "I'm a poor girl who has lost both parents," she said. "How did you come to my palace?" he asked. She replied, "I'm good for nothing, just a scullery girl who gets boots and shoes thrown at me." "But how did you get the ring from the soup?" the king asked her, but she wouldn't admit she knew. After a while, there was another feast, and Catskin asked the cook if she could go up and see it, as she had done before. The cook said yes, but to come back in half an hour to cook the king's favorite soup. She ran to her cabin, washed herself quickly, and put on her silvery dress, which was as beautiful as the moon. When she went into the hall, she looked like a king's daughter. The king was delighted to see her again, and they danced together. After the dance, she managed to slip away so slyly that the king didn't notice where she went. She hurried back to her little cabin, changed back into Catskin, and went to the kitchen to cook the soup. While the cook was upstairs, she grabbed the golden necklace and hid it in the soup. When the king ate the soup, he didn't know what had happened to his favorite necklace. It pleased him just as before, so he sent for the cook. She was forced to tell him again that Catskin could not cook it. Catskin was brought before the king, but she still said she was only fit for boots and shoes being thrown at her head. When the king ordered a feast for the third time, nothing changed. "You must be a witch," Catskin said, "and always put something in the soup to please the king more than mine." However, he let her stay as before. She put on her sparkling dress and went to the ballroom. The king danced with her again and thought she looked more beautiful than ever. While he was dancing, he put a gold ring on her finger and ordered the dance to continue for a long time. When it ended, he wanted to hold her hand, but she slipped away and sprang so quickly through the crowd he lost sight of her. She ran as fast as she could to her little cabin under the stairs. This time she stayed too long and was beyond the half hour, so she had no time to take off her fine dress. She threw her heavy mantle over it, and in her haste did not cover herself with soot, leaving one of her fingers white. She then ran into the kitchen to cook the king's soup. As soon as the cook was gone, she put the golden brooch in the dish. When the king reached the bottom, he ordered Catskin to be called again. Soon he saw the white finger with the ring that he had placed on it while they were dancing. He seized her hand and held it tightly. When she tried to escape and jump away, the fur cloak fell off a little to one side, revealing her starry dress underneath. He grabbed the fur and ripped it off, revealing her golden hair and beauty. The princess was seen and could no longer hide. She washed the soot and ash from her face and revealed herself to be the most beautiful princess on earth. The king said, "You are my beloved bride, and we will never be parted." A wedding feast was held, and it was a merry day that has ever been heard of or seen in that country, or indeed in any other foreign land